Hi there and welcome back to another Jim's Reptile Jungle video. Today I thought I'll give a short tour, I guess, of an enclosure you may have seen a couple years ago. This is of course the Argentine black and white Tegus enclosure, which is a 10 by 6 by 6 foot enclosure with all these different fixtures and fittings. I recently built this enclosure a couple years back now, of which I have done a video showing the enclosure and talking about it. However, I thought I'll do another video giving you an update of everything, how it's going. So if you have seen the original video, you might be able to tell there is a lot more foliage in here. Now of course this is all fake plants. I did originally try and use real plants. I've done different types of plants, things from bamboo and some other easier plants, but they all just don't seem to do too well. I believe the Tegu does like to tear down a lot of his stuff, hence why fake plants I find work really well for him, because he can rip them to pieces, similar to this plant here, and you just slowly put them back together or replace them over time. So I'll chuck some B-roll up of the enclosure as I'm talking, as well as the animal himself. So why did I decide to go for a really large enclosure for him? I feel that a large animal like him does deserve a large enclosure. The thing about Tegus I found is that they are very active animals that will utilize any space you offer them. For example, in here I have climbing areas with these large logs. He will climb up and use them. I also have a pond complete with filtration and fish. There's a couple different types of cichlids in there and some plecos as well, and they do quite well. He doesn't actually eat them. They're a bit too quick for him and a bit too small, so he doesn't really worry about those. However, he has a pond that he likes to soak in and swim in. It helps him shed, because Tegus do have trouble shedding from time to time, and he does enjoy going through there a lot and sort of just sitting and soaking up the water. As well as there's a deep amount of soil. I think there's 3 metric tons of soil in this enclosure, if I remember correctly, and it's about 1.5 to 2 foot deep depending on where it is. That obviously offers him a nice area for him to dig, which is great enrichment. It also offers him a temperature gradient as well as a humidity gradient. For example, the top of the soil is rather dry with bark and some other mulch and stuff, and as you dig lower down it gets from this sandy soil, dry sandy soil mix to more of a wet soil sand mix that holds its form better, so he can actually build burrows, which he does regularly, and that will also help with shedding as well, because he can get into a more damp and humid area when he needs to. I also have sort of a cleanup crew, as well as its own sort of ecosystem in the soil. I do have obviously springtails and earthworms. They help break down some of his waste, because obviously a large enclosure like this, it can be a little bit difficult from time to time finding all his poop, as well as some of the food waste he scatters around and buries. So they sort of give a helping hand when it comes to cleanup. For lighting and heating in here, see, this is a large shed, so I have a heater for the room at night. However, in the daytime that's off, and I run a set of 3 basking lights. I use 2 mercury vapor UV bulbs, either the Arcadia ones or the Zoomed ones. It depends on which one I can get cheaper from time to time, and I believe I have used the Internet Reptile ones as well. And then in the middle light, because I have a set of 3, I use a ceramic heat emitter that sort of helps distribute the heating a bit better, and I can actually leave that middle one on at night sometimes, just to make sure there is a nice warm area for him to get to if it does drop down to a more uncomfortable level. Saying that, Tegus are one of the only reptiles to be scientifically documented to produce their own body heat and regulate their own temperature, something that most reptiles tend not to be known to do, which is quite an interesting thing. And they can actually withstand cooler temperatures. They will go into brumation if it gets a bit too cold for them. For UV lighting, of course, I have the two mercury vapor bowls, but I also run two Arcadia Pro T5 lights. They are the highest ones. I can't remember if they're the, what are they? They are the highest ones. I believe they're 12 or 14% or something like that. Obviously they are quite high up, so it probably doesn't offer too much UV light. However, it's mainly just for me to visually see him in the daytime and give him some day-night cycle. And if it does give him any UV light, it is a benefit as well. I do have a large selection of Decor in here. I don't know if you can see behind me and around the enclosure, but I've sort of screwed in some pieces of wood. Typically Tegus can't climb directly up walls, so it helps him get a bit of a grip from time to time, just to get a bit more elevation, so he has a bit of a better viewing point. He can't climb out, however, and I do find it also adds to the visual sighting if I want to have a nice looking enclosure. These sort of logs and branches on the wall kind of helps hide that sort of blank wall space that would just be bare otherwise, so that helps as well. I always find offering a large enclosure brings, you know, a good amount of enrichment opportunities, like I mentioned with the digging, climbing and swimming. In addition to that, I can also scatter food around, for example whole prey items like frozen chips and mice, including rats as well. I can hide them up certain branches or slightly bury them under leaf litter or bark, and it'll take him a while to smell out that food source and find it, and it'll keep him occupied and physically enriched throughout that day, which is always a benefit for the animal. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little video on the Argentine black and white Tegu enclosure. If you want to see other videos on some of the other enclosures I have built, please leave in the comment section below your opinions, and of course what animal enclosures you want to see more of, and any updates on any animals that you have seen on the channel already. If you've got any questions on anything in the video or anything outside, feel free to comment them down below as well, or you can get in contact with me through my Instagram account, which is also Jim's Reptile Jungle. I believe there should be a link at the bottom of this video. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you did enjoy the video. Please remember to subscribe to keep up to date with any new content I post, and if you ding that bell icon, it will actually notify you for when I have uploaded a new video as well. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.